The Compassionate Doctor, a life dedicated to healing without payment. Chapter 1, The Town's Beloved Doctor. In a small town in Texas during the 1980s, there lived an elderly doctor named Jim Harper. He wasn't wealthy, nor did he own a large medical practice. But what made him special was his kind heart. Dr. Jim ran a modest clinic at the corner of Main Street. It wasn't a high-tech facility, just a small room with a few beds, a wooden desk cluttered with papers, and a medicine cabinet. Yet, his doors were always open. Unlike many doctors who charged high fees, Dr. Jim never turned away a patient. Healing people is my mission. If someone needs help, I will help them, whether they can pay or not, he often said. Chapter 2, The Sick Boy and a Desperate Mother. One scorching summer afternoon, while Dr. Jim was reviewing his medical notes, the clinic door burst open. A woman rushed in, carrying a frail boy in her arms. His face was flushed with a high fever, and his breathing was labored. "Doctor, please save my son," the woman pleaded. The boy's name was Daniel Parker, a 10-year-old from a poor farming family. Dr. Jim quickly placed him on the examination table. After listening to his heartbeat and checking his lungs, his face grew serious. "This boy has severe pneumonia. If not treated immediately, his condition will worsen." Tears welled up in the mother's eyes. "Doctor, I have no money. My family's crops failed this season. We can't afford treatment." Dr. Jim gently placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder and smiled. "Don't worry. My job is to heal, not to count money." Without hesitation, he got to work. He prescribed antibiotics, placed cool cloths on the boy's forehead, and monitored him throughout the night. Chapter 3, A Doctor's Unwavering Kindness. Over the next few days, Dr. Jim went beyond just treating Daniel in the clinic. He visited the Parker family's small farmhouse daily, carrying medicines and even some groceries. The mother, overwhelmed with gratitude, said, "Doctor, we owe you so much. I don't know how we'll ever repay you." But Dr. Jim simply smiled. "The best way to repay me is to live well. And if you ever find someone in need, help them." A week later, Daniel fully recovered. He hugged Dr. Jim tightly and said, "When I grow up, I want to be a doctor just like you." Dr. Jim chuckled, patting the boy's head. "If that's the case, remember, being a doctor is not just about treating illnesses. It's about helping people." Chapter 4, 40 years later, kindness comes full circle. Years passed. Dr. Jim continued his work, treating the sick, often without payment. By 2022, he was 85 years old. One day, he suddenly suffered a severe heart attack and was rushed to a large city hospital. As he lay on the hospital bed, he overheard the nurses whispering, "His surgery will be expensive. I wonder if his family can afford it." His family, indeed, was worried about the medical bills. Then, the door to his hospital room opened. A middle-aged man in a doctor's coat entered. He had a tall frame and a warm smile. Walking over to the bedside, he gently held Dr. Jim's hand and said, "Doctor, do you remember me?" Dr. Jim looked at him closely. Then, a wave of realization struck him. It was Daniel Parker, the boy he had saved decades ago. Now, Daniel was the chief doctor of the very hospital where Dr. Jim lay. "Years ago, you treated me without asking for a single penny. Now, it's my turn to help you. Your treatment costs will be fully covered. This is how I repay you." Tears welled up in Dr. Jim's eyes. He had never expected anything in return. Yet, the kindness he had given so freely had now come back to him in the most unexpected way. Conclusion: The power of kindness. After his surgery, Dr. Jim slowly recovered. He lived out his remaining years knowing that the compassion he had shared had left a lasting impact. His story became a source of inspiration, not only for patients but also for young doctors who heard about his selflessness. Kindness may not bring wealth, but it always leaves a mark on people's hearts. And sometimes, it comes back when we least expect it. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, like, leave a comment, and subscribe bell to our channel for more inspiring stories. Your support helps us share more heartwarming tales with the world. See you in the next video. Smiling face with smiling eyes, red heart.